All right, guys, good evening and welcome to tonight's training. My name is Claire Rafferty and I am an area manager and independent consultant with Arbonne. So tonight I am going to be taking you guys through our first official area training and our first proper team training. So after speaking to you all and kind of doing one-to-ones at the beginning of the month, chatting with Robin and talking about loads of other things that have been cropping up, the first training tonight is going to be on money mindset and then how to close. So tonight I'm going to break the training down into 4 different areas, and we're going to go through each of the 4 areas and be done and wrapped up within 30 minutes. So make sure you've got something to write down and take some notes. I want to try and give you some practical tools and some stuff that you can actually use to implement and start to obviously get people to either buy some products from you, which would obviously be absolutely incredible, or to help encourage you to get people to become independent consultants and join your team. So I'm just going to, as we get into it, post something in the chat box, and it's basically going to be a little a selection of books, and basically all of those books, all I want you to do is either screenshot them, copy them, or save them, and just as I go through the training, when I reference the different books, then you'll be able to see which ones and which ones are maybe going to be relatable to you. So the training tonight, we're going to look at your money mindset and the kind of theory behind your money mindset and where that comes from, and maybe if any of you do have any personal barriers or blocks around money or around your own money beliefs. Maybe you don't know you've got any blocks around money beliefs. I certainly didn't know I had any until I started to do the work, and then was like, oh, actually, there's things here that I didn't know, that I didn't believe to be true. And I learned quite a lot once I started this Arbonne journey, literally 7 months ago. I've learned so much about money in the last 7 months. It's wild. I'm also going to take you through your possible PC or independent consultant money mindset, and that's going to be more about what we know. So if we know what we know about ourselves, what can we possibly know about them, and how can that then help you when you're shaping your conversation and actually driving forward to get the desired outcome that you're trying to get, which is to help them to see how incredible this business is and see how incredible this brand is, to help obviously change their life. And then we're going to talk about how you can actually go from that kind of independent consultant conversation to the product conversation, which I know for a lot of you has been a huge block, and it's something that quite often we get to the end of one-to-ones. I've seen it with you guys quite a lot. You kind of ask about the business, and then you're like, okay, they're not interested in the business. Okay, I'm just going to add you to a WhatsApp group and we'll catch up and it'll all be amazing. No, like that needs to stop. When they've said they're not interested in the business, wrap it up. We've got to go in and we've got to talk about products. We've got to show them how incredible these products are and really help them see the value. And then last but not least is how to close, which I hate saying because it is very salesy, and it is very much, it sounds like we're trying to get a sale from someone. In reality, that's not what Arbonne is, and we know that's not what Arbonne is. Arbonne is about helping people and helping people see the bigger picture and the bigger vision. But just for the sake of this, I'm going to say how to close, as in how to get that person to bring them onto your team. So first up, looking at theory. So the theory and your own personal money mindset. So I've sent you those books in the chat box. Feel free to grab them. And basically the first book that I want you guys to possibly have a look at and possibly to think about is a book by Robert Kiyosaki. So in the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you guys have read it, absolutely incredible. If you haven't read it, it's basically he talks about habits that his rich dad taught him and habits that his poor dad taught him. And obviously his poor dad he refers to as his academic dad, his dad who has all the certificates, his dad who follows the education system, his dad who works his whole life but has a very poor money mindset, versus his rich dad who's very much a hard worker, a grafter, works in investment, or has dealings in investment, and teaches him a lot about, wealth. And he grows up with these 2 dads, 2 contrasting families, and he learns a lot in both of those experiences. And it basically shapes Robert Kiyosaki into being the kind of man and rich founder of wealth that he is today. So if you do think like maybe you don't understand what it does mean to be wealthy and what does it mean to split up your money or look at investments, stuff like that, it's a really good book to have a look at, and basically shows you how you can invest money in different things, and how you can actually create wealth as it is in the 21st century for each of you. So for me, that was a really good book because it taught me a lot of things that I I never learned growing up. And it is very much that rich dad, poor dad, you know, depending upon your background, where you come from, you're going to either take so much from this book and learn entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurial spirit, or it's going to be something you're going to already have heard all of these things. You've maybe been brought up in that culture and you're maybe already doing all of these things, but it is a really worthwhile book to check out. Next up is a book, Harvey Eker, whatever his name is, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. Now, this book is it's a little bit out there. It takes you basically through different habits that people with a wealth mindset have, and at the end of every chapter he basically gets you to ingrain a habit or ingrain a belief or a new process, and he gets you to like put your hands on your heart and say a statement, and put your hands on your head and say a statement. And basically it's a bit of a funny book, and I would listen to it out walking, and at the end of every chapter I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'd put my hand on my heart and I'd say it. But then you just becomes habit of anytime you have a thought about money, you're like, and I have a millionaire mind. And it's just getting used to like that kind of regime, but it teaches you a little bit about different aspects of money and different beliefs, and just again how wealthy people create wealth. Next up is Jen Sincero, You Are Badass at Making Money. Now again, if you've not read any of Jen Sincero's books, like you're missing out. She's got 3 books, and she's actually got a habit book about to be released. I think it's towards the end of the year, but again, it's quite a nice, fun, friendly book, and she just gets real about her own money habits and how you can start to change your habits as well. And then the very last book on that is Denise Duffield Thomas, who obviously Robin interviewed on our podcast. So if you're like, I don't actually want to buy Get Rich Lucky Bitch just yet, head over to Robin's podcast and listen to the episode with Denise. And that our episode is basically a full summary of her book, which is really nice. You can get her book in 60 minutes. Obviously, I still highly recommend listening to her book. And to be honest, like as much as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, and You Are Badass had a massive impact on me, it wasn't until I read Get Rich Lucky Bitch that I started to implement and started to actually break down my money habits and my money mindset. So if you're not sure where to start, I would say start with Get Rich Lucky Bitch. That's going to be your best kind of place, and learn kind of Denise's tactics. And then if you do need any more help, like reach out, ask, and I can talk you through some of my own experiences with it. But a huge thing about understanding your money blueprint is we all have a money blueprint, and you might not know right now what your money blueprint is. And it's basically things that, you know, parents have said, that you've been brought up around, maybe things you were told when you were a kid, like, we can't afford that, we don't have money for that, do you think money grows on trees, you know, who do you think I am, a millionaire? Like, whatever the phrases were for you growing up, like these are things that you maybe heard when you were younger and when you were a kid, and they're going to be ingrained in your mind. And whether or not you know it, or whether or not you believe it as an adult, these words are stuck in you somewhere. And it's not until you can start to look back and start to reflect on your own story and your own upbringing around money that you're going to start to see, well, what does money actually mean to you, and what do you value yourself as, and what price points start to scare you? Or, you know, were you someone who shopped at a certain place because we couldn't afford something? Or were you someone who's seen extravagant buys but then it meant a lot of debt and a lot of arguing? Are you someone who grew up in a family where money was always the topic of conversation? And you've really got to start to tap into these things and work through them yourself. And as you start to work through your own money blueprint, what will happen is you start to see that the price and everything in this world is made up. And we're going to kind of touch on that more in the next section. The price and everything in this world is made up. And money is sadly the currency that we live, we work, we exchange in. But it's just another way that we trade. We trade things in time, we trade things in energy, and we trade things in money. And people expect if they're paying for something, they're going to get a product, or they're going to get time, or they're going to get energy back for that. And we can always pay for things with those 3 types of currencies: time, energy, or money. So it's just another currency that we trade in life. And it just so happens that in Western society and the culture we live in, that money is the thing that people see and that stands the strongest. It took me such a long time to realize that money was just the thing that I was putting on my coaching when I was like really going for it within my own coaching business. And actually what people were paying for was my time and my energy. And that's just a price point to trade time and to trade energy. And within this business, it's a price point to trade your product. And we know the value of the product. We know how high it sits in the market, and we know what impact that product has on people's lives. So that brings us into number 2, your PC and their money mindset. So if you know yourself, you've got these ties and these things going on around money within your own head, and you've got these limiting beliefs around that's too expensive, or people don't pay that amount for this product, then what do you think your PC is going to say when all of a sudden you say, oh, it costs this, and you're sitting back and you're like, yeah, it's £240 for 30 days, and but it's really good, and it's going to be really good for a month, and yeah, it's nice. If you curl up into a ball in yourself because that number makes you feel uncomfortable, the person on the receiving end of that is just going to be like, well, she thinks it's a lot of money, so I think it's a lot of money. And they read your body language, they read your emotions, they read that connection, and they're like, no, I'm not having that. Like, thank you, I'll go get it cheaper elsewhere. And there's always this tie and this connection of, I can get the same thing cheaper elsewhere. And in our own heads, that's what we believe. I don't know how many of you are probably sitting there like, oh, I've went to sell a 30 days and I've said it's 240, and they're like, oh, but I can get 6 months coaching for 240 quid down the street. That's not what this is. Like, this is literally something that will completely transform their life, transform their health. And when you help people and your clients see that that £240 is going to massively level up their energy, massively help them start to change their mindset, change their health from the inside out, change how they approach food, change their daily habits, changing all these things. I say this all the time: is your life worth £240 to change? So right now, the position you're in, if I'm telling you, you can lose weight, you can feel healthy, you can have great energy, you're going to get into better sleep, your skin's going to glow, your hair's going to grow, your nails are going to grow, and you're feeling absolutely incredible, how much is that worth to you? People are like, you can't put a price on that. People cannot put a price on health. So when we start to look at products and essentials and things that people buy all the time, you cannot put a price on that, because when you're looking at your PCs and you're looking at the value for them, what you want to understand and what you want to get to them is that they are going to be buying these things anyway, and they're going to be investing in these things anyway. So it's not about the price point. It's about them not understanding the business and them not understanding the value that those products can bring. And it always comes back to, they don't understand the brand and they don't understand the value. So this is where this is our job and this is our responsibility. And you're going to know that you've done a good presentation and you've done a good product demo and you've sold the business really well if when you ask them at the end, so what did you think about the products, they're like, oh my goodness, they sound incredible. I've been looking for something like that my whole life. Like, I've been using this and it's doing this to my skin. I've been using this and it's doing this to my gut. Like, I have this problem, I have that problem. You've just told me you can solve it. And that's what we're trying to get, that emotional response from them. But that emotional response is only going to come and it's only going to start to build when you've given them enough value. So within a sales and within a marketing industry and within a kind of a trading, time, energy, money industry, people are going to give their money up when they feel like it's worth it. And it is as simple as that. If they can see the value and they can see the worth, they will give you money and they will say, here, take it. You're going to fix all the problems I have in this world. Absolutely incredible. Now, we're obviously not fixing problems, so to speak, but we are providing, an incredible primer, an incredible mascara, an incredible skincare routine. We are providing them with something that they are looking for. And it doesn't take you long to have a conversation with someone and work out what we call a pain point is. And when you have a conversation with someone, you work out what their pain point is, whether their pain point is they're sick of having breakouts. They're maybe sick of the flash on the white whenever they take a picture. They're sick of their eye makeup comes off by the end of every night because they don't have a good setting powder. They're sick of their lips being really dry because there's not enough moisture in the lip gloss they're using. These are all real pain points and real things that people have in this world. Like, are people's pain points that they don't like using chemicals on their body? Are people vegan or vegetarian and they're looking for clean, pure, safe, beneficial products? It's about you and your job to connect with that PC and understand what it is that they are looking for. And then it's up to you to then show them through enough touches, is what we call it, how our products or how our business or how our brands can then benefit them. So a number that we throw out there quite a lot is it takes anyone anything from 9 to 12 touches to actually make a purchase. So what this means, if you set up and you've messaged someone, you've got them giddy, you've told them a little bit about the business, you've given them a little bit of intrigue, that's not even a touch, because they still probably don't even know that you work with Arbonne, and they still probably don't even know what your business is. It's not until they get on the call and you start to speak to them and they see you and they see the visual representation of you, this full of energy, busting with pride, excited human being. Cool. There's your first touch. You are your product. Fantastic. You are your brand. There's touch number one. You then say to them, Arbonne, have you heard of it? Boom, first exposure. But then what you're going to do is you're going to take them through a presentation. And in that whole presentation, you're going to show them the ethos, the sustainability, the transparency. You're going to show them absolutely everything. That'll take you to maybe touch number 3. You're then at the end of that presentation going to show them some products. That's touch number 4. Absolutely fantastic. You've absolutely nailed it. You've got 4 touches. But I've just said there, it takes anything from 9 to 12 to get someone to make a sale or to convert or to actually buy from you. So if you're thinking 9 to 12, by the end of that presentation, if you've done a good job, you've given them 4. Yeah. You've then got to connect them with some people on Instagram. You've then got to show them a video that tells them more about the products with someone that's more relatable to them. You've then got to find an eye on Arbonne if we have got availability to them. You're going to find them a SoundCloud, and you're going to be giving them more and more information. You're going to be saying to them, oh my goodness, go and check out this Meet the Product sheet. That's exactly what you're after. You're going to be saying, have a look at this, have a look at that. And you're trying to get them to get more and more exposures to Arbonne, to the brand, to the business, to the culture, to everything that we provide. And then when you've got them up to about 9, 10 touches, they're going to be saying to you, oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with this brand. I love this. I'm ready to jump in. But people get so quickly disheartened when they've told someone it's Arbonne and they've showed them a makeup line over Zoom. And they're like, why are people not buying this from me? And it's like, well, they've not felt it, they've not smelt it, they've not touched it, they don't see what lots of people look like who wear those products, they don't understand the energy, they don't understand the community, they don't understand the value in what we're actually trying to give them. So it's our job as consultants to make sure that those PCs see the value, that they know the value, and that they completely understand it. So moving on, you've got your own money mindset. You're starting to think if they've got a money mindset issue, then, you know, you really need to be pushing that value and showing them that the value in the product does match that financial investment and does manage that financial outcome. Because I can promise you, if I was to say to you, heaven forbid, in fact, let's just go for a much easier option. You're driving down the motorway. We've all got cars, right? You're driving down the motorway and your 2 front tires pop. You have to pull over, you've got no money. You call an emergency garage, they're going to come out, they're going to replace your 2 tires, but it's going to cost you 600 quid there and then on the spot. You don't care. You want the 2 tires, you want to get home, you're in the middle of nowhere, you're going to find that 600 quid and you're going to pay for it. The reality is, when it's risking our health, it's risking our safety, it's risking our life, or it's something we really want, we will find a way to pay for it. I don't know how many times I speak to someone, I'm like, oh, how you getting on? They're like, oh my God, I'm so skint, I've got no money, I can't afford anything. And then 24 hours later, they've just booked an all expenses paid blinking what's it called, an all-inclusive? I've never done one. Booked an all-inclusive to Benidorm for 2 weeks. And I'm like, mate, you just said you had no money. Oh yeah, but it was a deal. Okay, cool. So you had no money yesterday, but 24 hours later, you can pay 1,300 quid for an all-inclusive for you and your family to Benidorm. People have money when they see the value and when they see the virtue in what they're investing in. So it's up to us to help them see that value and to make sure that they understand that what they're getting is going to give them the result that they are looking for. So we've done that. We've then in a consultation, point number 3, and you've been talking about the business and you're having a great time, and then you get to the end and you've showed them a few products, you've showed them your favorite 5 products, you know, something from each of the ranges, and you sit with them and you're like, so I've spoke to you about the presentation, I've showed you some of the products, what in that resonated with you, what in that did you love about this business? And they just like blank wall, boom, this is not for me, ground swallow me up, get me out of here right now. And they're looking at you and they're like, business is not for me at all. Like, I'm honestly, thanks so much for reaching out, but it's just not for me. Your first thing, first and foremost, is to handle that objection. Okay, can you just tell me, like, what about that business? What about the business is not for you? Handle that objection, okay? But once you've handled that objection, listen to what they're saying. listen to what they're saying, and then think, okay, based on my own understanding, my own knowledge of emotional intelligence, my own knowledge of this human in front of me, my own knowledge of their body language right now, my own understanding of how they reacted when I asked them about the business, am I going to push that this business is going to be a good idea for them? Or am I going to say, do you know what? That's totally cool. The business might not be for you at this time, but what I find is a lot of people obviously don't know the brand, they don't understand the products, you've never tried them before, you're not even sure if they work. So why don't we look at the product side, and why don't you tell me a few of the products that I showed you there, or maybe there's something in your life that you're needing to replace right now, and we can maybe just look at replacing one or two of your current products. You can try a couple of hours. You explain to them about the 45 days, you explain to them about the returns, and you say, why don't we have a look online just now and see if there's anything that you like. Now, again, you're going to read their body language at that point. Majority of people, if you put it across to them nicely and you put it across to them properly and you say, let's just have a look at the products and see what would work for you. You have a genuine human conversation and read their body language and react to how they're moving. Then you're going to be able to get them to the point where we can take them to the website and we can be their own personal shopper. Now, the key here is if you right now find that when you are talking to someone and you're in that point and they've like shut down, they've said no to the business, and you're like, they look absolutely terrified and you're not really sure how to play it, this is where you need to break the ice. So you need to bring the conversation back around, you need to get them talking, and you need to get them more interested again. So this is where you could bring it back to something that you had in the opening of the presentation. Look, I know you said at the beginning of this presentation you were really tired right now, so why don't we talk a little bit about how the fizz sticks might help you? Why don't I take you onto the website? I'll show you the fizz sticks. You can see how much they are. You can read a little bit about them and you can decide, hey, do you maybe just want to invest in some fizz sticks and try them and see if they're as hyped up as what we make them out to be? Or they might have said at the beginning, oh, you know, I've been struggling with my skin, like I've been having a breakout for such a long time. So when I seen it was makeup, I just wanted to see what was going on with your brand, if you would have anything for me. So they've said that at the beginning. It's now up to you to bring that back to them and be like, look, I know you said like you were struggling with breakouts. I know that our products have helped so many people who do struggle with breakouts. We've got a line called Clear Future. Why don't I show you that? Also, the Digestion Plus works really, really well. I can show you that online. I can show you how you would get it. You can have a look. You can have a think about it, and then we can get back. Because then what you're doing is you're giving them a personal exposure again, and you're giving them something that directly links to them. Now, with that, if you are struggling with reading people and you struggle with understanding how to read that situation, or that just gives you the heave and it makes you feel really awkward and really uncomfortable, I popped a book on that list. Oh, is it gone? No, it's still there. Daniel Goleman, Emotional Intelligence. So if you haven't read Emotional Intelligence, I highly suggest you check it out. It is a little bit wordy, and some of you might be like, oh, Claire, I'm not ready for this book. Totally cool. Like, get it on audio format, listen to it a few times, try and let it sink in. But basically, it's just going to take you through emotional intelligence and how to start to understand people, understand behaviors, and understand how to connect with people. A little bit on empathy and just how you can work through that process. And then my absolute favorite book that basically changed the game for me, not only in helping my team, but also helping me as soon as I get into a product consultation or an independent consultant consultation, is Big Al. I think his name is like Big Al Strider, Big Al something, Tom Big Al book, and it's the 4 color personalities. Now, I go on about this book all the time. It is such a short book, and basically it's 4 colors. It splits people based on characteristics, things they say, behaviors, personality types into 4 different categories. And basically you can understand, you know, it goes really, really rogue and like explains so much about what these 4 color personalities are. But then what I found is I could just take little tidbits, and I now know when I get onto an initial conversation with someone, a few key trigger questions that I can ask them to learn a bit about them, learn about their hobbies, learn about their background, learn about their lifestyle, and all of a sudden I can start to imagine which color personality they're going to be in. So then I'm able to, when I get to, are you interested in this business? I know if I'm selling the fun. I know if I'm selling the helping other people. I know if I'm like, if you're driven, you work hard, go to earnings.arbon, like have a look at what you can do with this business if you're willing to work hard, and you start to learn how you can feed back to that person. And the exact same thing works with products. If you can understand their personality, you're going to start to understand their response and how they're going to engage with you when you start to talk about products. Are they someone who's like, no, I need to go away? Like if they're a green personality, I'm not going to try and sell a green personality products there and then on the night. I'm going to give them all the information and let them go and make sure they get it up to 12 touches before I start pushing at them again to get them to make a sale. Whereas if it's someone that's maybe a blue, I'm going to be like, let's fill up a shopping bag and let's go right now. Let's get it done because you are going shopping tonight and it is happening. And it just starts to help you understand people's personality and characteristics. So, it's just making sure when you get to that point of they've said no about the business, you've kind of said, let's talk about the products. It's really up to you as a consultant to really understand their body language and understand what vibe they're giving you at that time. And that only comes with practice. Now, you can read all the books you want. I've given you an extensive list with this, and you can get yourself so absorbed in all the education. But the quickest and the best way to see the result is to speak to more people. You are going to fall on your face. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to mess up now and again, but the reality is stick to the basics, stick to the script, like stick to the process. And even if you get them to the shopping basket and they say, oh sorry, I've lost my credit card, cool, no worries, like save the bag, take a screenshot, send it to them and be like, when you get your card, when will that be? Let's go again. And just keep that conversation open. Again, when people see that price at the end of the checkout, that's the only time I generally find that you might get people that will say, give me 24 hours. Cool. Give them 24 hours. Let them go and think about it. But in that 24 hours, you need to give them as much value and give them as many exposures as possible. And this is where quite often I feel like we take a step back. It's like, well, I've done the presentation. I've shown them the shopping basket. I've sent them a message. I'm just going to wait. And it's like, you cannot wait. You need to be giddy. You need to be excited. You need to be talking to that person. You need to be exposing that person to the business. Now, if they've not replied to your message, okay, don't go send them 10 messages in a row. Really, again, emotional intelligence, read the situation, read what is going on. But if you genuinely are like, this person was so keen, like they were ready to buy the product. Okay, ask yourself, as soon as you got off the phone with them, did you send them the information? Or did you go for your dinner, go to the gym? Soz, can't go to the gym. Did you go for your dinner, go for a run? I wish we could go to the gym. And then come back and be like, oh, I forgot to send them the information after that one-to-one. Oh, I better do it now. How many of you, honestly, like I know how many WhatsApp groups across this team I've been added into this month so far. Not a lot, guys. When you do your calls, the first thing you do is put me into a WhatsApp group with them. You make that clear to them on the call. Okay, I'm so glad we caught up. I'm just going to put you in a WhatsApp group with Claire. She's going to be able to help you if you've got any questions on the products. She's been doing this a little bit longer than me. She can tell you a little bit about her. She can maybe share some of her favourite products with you as well. Boom. Whatever it needs to be, but we've got to get them exposures. I love you all, and I'm so convinced you can all absolutely blow up this business, but you cannot do it by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. You need help, you need support, and you need a team. It wasn't until I sat my ego back on its shelf and actually included Robin in everything that I was doing that I was like, oh, this actually really works. Like, use Robin. She's good at this. She knows what she's doing. And I got her in. I was like, okay, this person likes this product. Can you leave them a voice note and just tell them your experience with this product? Because I don't know enough about it, or blah, blah, blah. And it's those exposures again and again and again that are going to help people pick it up. So finally, last part is how to close. Super quick. All right, so you've been through all of this and you've got them back on the follow-up, and you're sitting there and you're how to close. And this is where I just want to bring you into my one and only analogy. I have an analogy, folks. Imagine you are in a restaurant, right? And you are sitting, you've finished your dinner, it's absolutely incredible. Waitress clears the plates away. Waitress comes back over with the dessert menu and she gives you the dessert menu. Now, I am this guy in a restaurant and I genuinely, like, it's maybe because I was a waitress for years, but I love to, like, challenge the waitress. I do. I love to challenge her. And my buying the dessert is completely based on what comes out of her mouth because it's fun, it's conversation, and it also helps you build your Arbonne business. So when I get a dessert menu and she gives me it and I'll say, okay, amazing. I'm like, what do you recommend? I ask her, what do you recommend? Do you have a special? Okay, great. Now, if that waitress looks at me and she's like, I haven't actually tried anything on the menu, but I could ask my colleague, she's been here a lot longer, she might know what tastes good. Yeah, cool, I'm not interested. Bye, see you later, hun. You are not selling this to me, right? You're not excited. You were looking at the chocolate cake, maybe the carrot cake. You were hoping she was going to sway the decision. She didn't. Bye, see you later. You ask, same person, question. I've only ever had the chocolate cake, and I think the carrot cake's really good, but I've only ever had the chocolate cake. So I would go with the chocolate cake because it's quite nice. Yeah, I really like it. Am I selling that to you? Nah, you're not, right? Cool. What do you like on the menu? Oh my God, the menu is incredible. I've literally had all the desserts. Like, they have to stop me from eating them. It's not even funny. I absolutely am obsessed with the chocolate cake, but I love the carrot cake too. Do you have more of a sweet tooth or are you more of a savory? I'm buying from that waitress and I'm probably going to buy the carrot cake and the chocolate cake. Yeah? You've got to figure out yourself, like, where is your enthusiasm at and where is your energy at when it comes to your sales? If you've taken someone on that journey and you've taken them through all the exposures and you've got through feel the fear of introducing them to the business and you've lent into showing them the products and you've taken them through the shopping basket and you've got to the end of that and you're not excited about the products they're about to get and you're not feeling the energy and you're not like, oh my gosh, like, I absolutely love this mascara. Like, this mascara has been in so many magazines. Like, have you seen it in Vogue? You might not have seen it in Vogue. It's amazing. Oh, and see this lip gloss? Like, I've had this on for like 7 hours now. It's not even come off my lips. You've got to show that enthusiasm. And this is where, like, we preach it time and time again, but we're constantly faced with so many of you being like, oh, I just can't seem to sell the 30 days. And we say it time and time again. Have you done the 30 days? Like, if you've not done it, if you've not used the products, if you're not genuinely authentic about it, then you're not going to close. That's like me trying to make a sale in a coaching business and not actually knowing how to coach a client. Like, when someone gets on the phone to me, I'm so passionate. I'm so in it. I'm telling them everything they need to know. I'm asking them their pain points. I'm giving them the answers. I'm giving them the results. And then I'm saying, if you want to do this, this is what it costs. This is what it takes. This is what you need to do. Are you excited? Are you ready to go? And it's get that excitement and get that ready to go-ness. And you need to be taking them through the shopping basket at the end, guys. I know it's like, feel the fear, that gut wrenching in your stomach. I don't care. What I do to get into that conversation is I literally say, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try. We're just going to see what it looks like. Have a look at it all. Tell me if you're happy with it. If you're happy with it, fantastic. If you're not happy with it, that is okay. I'm just showing you what it looks like. You're not telling them, I'm taking you through this and you're going to pay. You're completely giving them the opportunity. And this is where they will say yes or no. If it's not a hard, fast yes, they're going to say no. Like, people say no in life and they're not going to be forced into buying anything. They are adults. They will make that decision. You've just got to guide them and show them this is what it looks like. And breathe. I forget to breathe when I'm talking. I forget to breathe. All right, guys, that is everything. So I'm going to stop the recording.